All right, welcome to Smokey Reacts. I'm your boy Journalist, and on this one, we are here to check out a video from a brother I do follow. I don't follow him on YouTube. I've been following him on Facebook for maybe a year or two. Like right before COVID hit, Cuz kind of popped up on my timeline, and I used to chat back and forth to him in the comments sometimes. Cause I'd be like, that's just like the wrong take, or I felt like there was some conflation on certain points. So we had a discourse, a positive one, because we was just having a conversation. So I enjoyed the brother's ideals and some of the things he was speaking about. His name is The Conscious Lee, and boys just taking off since then. And then I seen this video, and I was like, the reparations argument. Let's see what my brother has to say. What's going on with this one? So I kind of just seen this video. It was like a short, sweet one. I probably dipped my toe in this. So that's how we got here. Anybody watches this, thank you for your time. If not, I'm just chatting my shit. Thank you. Please hit that like, subscribe, Patreon's in the description, and let's get into this. See what we get into.
Did you know that Harriet Tubman was married when she started the Underground Railroad? Raise your hand if you knew she was married. Raise your hand if you knew that Harriet Tubman actually lived with her husband, who was a free black man. Raise your hand if you knew that. And raise your hand if you knew that her husband told her not to do it, and he would forever go down in history as a coward. But her husband said, don't do it. She was married, living with her husband, who was a free black man, when she started the Underground Railroad. Now, I want you to put this in perspective. Who do you think helped Harriet Tubman in the Underground Railroad? It was white people. She wasn't going to black people's houses and escaping to the north, to La La Land. She was going to the north where black people were free, and white people helped them all along the way. Good white people who never believed in slavery, believed that it was wrong, it was an ill, it was a sin, always helped black people escape slavery and become free. We've always worked together.
My brother is speaking with such conviction and grand sweeping statements that it's just like, boy, the facts say otherwise. Are some of the shit you're saying true? Sure. But just all these white people, wasn't just a large contingent of white folks, and then some of these white folks actually still just had slaves, but we're I'll happily help you get these niggas from down here up here. That's it. Some just were indifferent to the situation. It was just fuck it, I don't have none, don't want none. If you need the passage, come through. It's not just this, there was just all these white people that just want to help black people escape slavery and get to the north. What the fuck? And then it's a 6-week journey, blood. She's not just working with, fucking white people the whole time. There's black people that are still slaves on fucking plantations and shit that help fucking facilitate certain shit, or, create pathways to, the next place. It's very nuanced, is the best way to say it. And to make these type of grand sweeping statements with such conviction, this is where I feel like a lot of the black thought leaders in today's time just shoot themselves in the foot. And then this is where I can already tell with the smile on my nigga face, he about to clean this nigga up. He about to clean him up.
From the very beginning of time.
Number one, did this man just take the legacy of Harriet Tubman to sensationalize how great white people are?
Yes,
Number two, he's so lost in the sauce with tap dancing for tokens that he's forgot to mention that indigenous people, people of African descent, people of European descent were all involved with the
nuance.
Underground Railroad. Number three, when it comes to what he referred to as the rail rage, many historians say it's the first instance of American history of a genuinely interracial coalition, and the role of the Quakers in its success cannot be gainsaid. It was, nevertheless, predominantly ran by free Northern African Americans, especially in its earliest years, most notably the great Philadelphian William Steele. Number four, can we acknowledge that there were white people trying to enslave Harriet Tubman at the same time? There were white people trying to help her. So this over-sensationalized.
Yo, Big Sis got caught cuz she doesn't get to remain that free woman with a coward of a husband, as you like to paint that picture, which is just fucking weird. Imagine being in love with the woman, getting the freedom with that woman in a time where you couldn't be free. You are that with the woman you love, and she talk about doing the most riskiest shit in the fucking world. You goddamn right I'm gonna tell her not to do it. I love this bitch. What you talking about? You trying to get into danger? No. Just out of pure love. My man was probably saying no. Had nothing to do with cowardice. I don't want to lose the woman I love to this risky shit. That's it. But you out here paint my nigga with a brush like he's just a coward. Like, what's niggas?
Thing he just gave, it's piss poor. Number 4, his elementary-like telling of history would have people believing that all the white people where the Quakers was against slavery, when actually that was false. Number 6, y'all be so lost in the sauce of this North versus South telling of history that you will forget that places like New York didn't outlaw slavery until 1820.
And actually, the last slave in America was freed 2 months after the current president of the United States right now was motherfucking born. Like, slavery is so fucking expansive and nuanced and really crazy when you get into the granular details of like when it actually fucking ended. What was like the situations, like Reconstruction, all these fucking things. Like, it's not just as simple as 1886, the Emancipation Proclamation happened, and then that's fucking shit. Like, that's what it is. Like, no, cuz, like, niggas like this, boy. Like, there are compelling points to make on these topics, but when you do the bastardization of history the way that my brothers did in the beginning of this is where I have to spend so much time with any of the white people that may want to learn more or feel like they know something now because they've listened to a black man speak with such conviction. Now they're chatting to me with false facts or half-truths, and now I'm sitting here having to correct them, and they don't understand my frustration because they're like, oh, well, I learned it from a black guy. It's like... I'm not even the best source. Anything I say, go fucking check it out yourself. Go actually look into these things. Don't just hear a nigga on a TikTok video or a fucking reel or an IG short or none of that shit. Go fucking actually look into this shit, because god damn it, this is terrible. Hey, shout out to Knowing Better as well. If you don't know about Knowing Better, the YouTube channel, just go watch Knowing Better. Learn a little bit about American fucking the slavery that happened in America. Cuz does an exemplary job of just pure facts, no opinion. Really what happened. You'll really fucking see like, oh, goddamn, they didn't teach me fucking shit in school.
27, and we know that most documents show they ain't enforced that law until after the Civil War. My last point, people like him don't want students learn about black history or CRT in the classroom, but he wants to monetize it by making white folks mad and getting paid for it. Make it make sense.
Hey, newsflash. White people in today's society have nothing to do with the past. Matter of fact, blaming them for what happened in the past is inherently racist. Because you're essentially just making up an excuse to hate white people. I don't need a shirt to tell me I'm a powerful black man. If I'm a powerful black man, I did that shit on my own. I worked for that shit. You don't need to amplify anything. Your power doesn't come from a t-shirt at Walmart. What, white girl can't have no magic? This victim mentality has to go. You can't keep blaming white people for all of your problems. Yes, our history was quite fucked up, but it's nowhere close to how it used to be. In fact, some of the most amazing men and women I've ever met in my entire life have been white. So if you need a t-shirt from Walmart to make you feel like you're special, by all means, go get it. But don't be surprised when I come out with some merch saying white girl magic and you see some white girls wearing it. Because if black girls can have magic, that means white girls can have magic too.
Number 1.
Oh, before you get this thing, let me try it. Oh, okay, so look. Nobody said the white girls don't have magic. It is the fact that growing up as a black man in America, you were inherently or just structurally taught that like white girls or white folks have like this magical essence about them. Hence, you know, like Disney princesses and princes being predominantly or just all fucking white. Just to give you just a magic dose. This is hence why the term black girl magic is to let black girls know that they could be magical just like those white girls. And then the white folks in today's time, you're correct. They've had nothing to do with what has happened in the past. However, they actively uphold systems that were created in the past and do not try and take them down, because then that would redistribute power structures, wealth, and all kinds of other things. So a lot of white people in today's time, or not even a lot, every white person walking the face of the earth currently had nothing to do with racism in the past, had nothing to do with it. But the ingrained and institutionalized racism that is systemic in America is being upheld by certain white folks or is a learned bias or perception that a lot of white people in America hold, and then they're just like, oh, well, like, nothing's wrong, and it's like, you're technically correct. The system is built exactly properly. It is working exactly how it should, but is that a good system? And no, the fuck it isn't. And to act like, oh, these things like, oh, you're a powerful black man because of some fucking t-shirt is the whole position that they are making with these merchandise things, or saying that white people in today's time are upholding or participate in racism in some way. It's like, why are you, the cognitive dissonance is a motherfucker. It's a motherfucker. Like, why, my boy? Why? Like, I don't get why there's so many black people that actively just disregard the facts just for like their personal feelings on certain shit. Like, it doesn't make sense to me. And then they get on here and they say shit, and then I'm just like, the facts don't back you up, and the logical, actual, non-bullshit argument that somebody brings to this is going to just destroy all the shit you're saying. Like, what world did you go up in, cuss? Like, it's just the shit niggas say is just ridiculous to me. Go ahead and get this nigga now.
One. This video is meant to be a teachable moment. I don't know that gentleman. I'm sure he's a great person. Number two, what you just saw there was an example of racial illiteracy, the ability to read and write situations pertaining to race lacking. Number three, let me raise y'all racial illiteracy. The concept of black girl magic is made in the face of a European beauty standards and how those are weaponized against black women. Number four, we understand how generational wealth is tied to the past, correct? We understand how inheriting trust, inheriting wills is also tied to the past, correct? Number five, that rant we heard about the speaking points and blaming white people was a response to a comment that said, wouldn't need to amplify if our history wasn't so jacked up. This is an example of textbook strawman argumentation where this gentleman has made responses to arguments that were never made. Number six, dear white people, no one is asking you to apologize for your ancestors, or we blaming you for your ancestors. We're asking you to dismantle the systems of oppression they built that you maintain and benefit from.
That's it.
White people in today's society has nothing to do with the past, but your mere presence in this country is predicated off of colonialism. Make it make sense.
Come on.
Angry at me because I told them right to their face, nobody owes you anything for slavery. If you want to tell the truth about it, it is you who owes. It's you who owes. Why do you owe? Because somebody in those fields took stripes for you. Somebody, after those fields were ended and slavery was ended, somebody had to walk through Jim Crow for you. Somebody fought wars and died for you. Somebody lived less than because they didn't have what you have, and they did it for you. There are people in their graves right now, and they are there because they were willing to stand up and fight for you.
Him said, Massa don't owe.
I don't think there's a living white person in America that owes black people any portion of reparations. Not one. But you know who was there? The thing that was there that still owes, that allowed for all the fuckery and the land grabbing and actually gave all the wealth redistribution and fucking civil services to white folks and farmers back in the day to help the generational wealth of a lot of white settlers or European colonialists happen. It's the U.S. motherfucking government. That's who actually owes reparations. And yeah, okay, you won't pay no taxes on anything if you're a white person in America because you don't feel like your money should be used for any of these things because your people or yourself did not directly contribute. Fine and all. I got a fix for that one as well. You know what the U.S. government does have a lot of? Land. You know what they do have a lot of? Property. And I'm not just talking about land property where there's a house sitting on it. They own artifacts and things like that that they could fucking sell, rent, or lease that would be able to pay for reparations because the things they have done to black people post, we'll say, Reconstruction, Jim Crow, after Emancipation Proclamation, all of these fucked up things that the U.S. government has allowed to have happen to black people post the ending of what we call slavery. Yeah, they was there for it the whole time, sanctioned a lot of it or turned a blind eye to it. So I look at it like, well, shit, Sell off some shit so you can pay for some shit, because that's what would happen to a regular person if I caused an ill or a wrong and I needed to pay for it. I would need to sell my items if I did not have the liquid cash. So if the U.S. government don't have liquid cash, they just need to sell some shit or give niggas some land, just like they did white folks. But that also would be kind of changing the perception that a lot of white people have about Martin Luther King, because once he gets to all the socialist programs or any of the wealth redistribution, that's not the Martin Luther King they teach you all about. They teach you about the don't judge me by the character or the color of my skin, but the content of my character. And I have a dream, Martin. They don't teach you about the Martin, I'm tired of getting my ass whipped, I'm about to start firing on niggas. And actually, white liberals are actually worse than racist. Like, they'll teach you about that, Martin. That's the one they seem to leave out. So when I see black men speak like this, I'm just like, somebody walked through Jim Crow. That sentence in itself is just fucking stupid. Somebody walked through Jim Crow. The fact that Jim Crow was a thing a black person had to walk through shows that actively there was a real effort to stop black people from even getting equal footing in this country. Like, how do you, as a grown-ass black man, you got a family, you're probably a leader in your fucking community, and you outside saying shit like this? You're a fucking fool.
Owes you nothing. He gave you good eats. He gave you good sleeps. And you's being ungrateful. If anything, you owe massa. In all seriousness, though, if I owe my ancestors because they had to walk through Jim Crow, what does the person owe that set up Jim Crow and benefited from it? Notice how that crowd clapped when he talked about us owing somebody else. When we talk about them owing us, they don't like that type of talk.
No, they don't. No, they don't. But, yeah, like I said, I figured I was going to probably agree with my nigga 9 times out of 10. Like, it's always on some super, like, nuanced technical point where I always seem to have any problems with my boy Lee. But outside of that, I feel like we're on the same page. But yeah, that was it for me on this one. Just, I seen this, I was like, fuck it, let's do it. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for joining me. If you could please hit that like, subscribe, Patreon's in the description. If you guys want me to do more of these, you can link me a video, tell me who you want me to check out, any of that. But I just do these whenever I like feel it. So yeah, that's kind of how this went. Thank you for your time. See you on the next one. I'm out of here. Peace.